Zurich is the largest city in Switzerland and the capital of the canton of Zurich. It is located in north-central Switzerland at the northwestern tip of Lake Zürich. The municipality has approximately 400,028 inhabitants, the urban agglomeration 1.315 million, and the Zurich metropolitan area 1.83 million. Zurich is a hub for railways, roads, and air traffic. Both Zurich Airport and railway station are the largest and busiest in the country. Permanently settled for around 2,000 years, Zurich has a history that goes back to its founding by the Romans, who, in 15 BC, called it Zuricum. However, early settlements have been found dating back more than 6,400 years ago. During the Middle Ages, Zurich gained the independent and privileged status of imperial immediacy and, in 1519, became a primary center of the Protestant Reformation in Europe under the leadership of Ulrich Zwingli. The official language of Zurich is German, but the main spoken language is the local variant of the Alemannic Swiss German dialect. Zurich is a leading global city and among the world's largest financial centers despite having a relatively low population. The city is home to a large number of financial institutions and banking giants. Most of Switzerland's research and development centers are concentrated in Zurich, and the low tax rates attract overseas companies to set up their headquarters there. Monocle's 2012 Quality of Life survey ranked Zurich first on a list of the top 25 cities in the world to make a base within, according to several surveys from 2006 to 2008. Zurich was named the city with the best quality of life in the world as well as the wealthiest city in Europe. The Economist Intelligence Unit's Global Livability Ranking sees Zurich rank among the top 10 most livable cities in the world. Many museums and art galleries can be found in the city, including the Swiss National Museum and the Kunsthaus. Schauspielhaus Zurich is one of the most important theaters in the German-speaking world. Name. The Swiss standard German pronunciation of the name is. In Zurich German, the name is pronounced without the final consonant, Zuri, although the adjective remains Zurcher. The city is called Zurich in French, Zurigo in Italian, and Zurich in Romansh. In English the name is usually written Zurich, without the umlaut. It is pronounced Zjuk or Zuk, more recently sometimes also with ts, as in German. The earliest known form of the city's name is Zuricum, attested on a tombstone of the late 2nd century AD in the form Stadt-Zürich. Neither the name's linguistic origin nor its meaning can be determined with certainty. A possibility is derivation from *Turicum, from the Gaulish personal name Turos. The Latin stress on the long vowel of the Gaulish name was lost in German but is preserved in Italian Zurigo and in Romansh Turi. A first development towards its later Germanic form is attested as early as the 6th century with the form Zürich. For the 10th century onward, the name has more or less clearly been established as Zurich. Zurich is sometimes referred to as downtown Switzerland for publicity reasons. History. Early history settlements of the Neolithic and Bronze Age were found around Lake Zürich. Traces of pre-Roman Celtic Latin settlements were discovered near the Lindenhof Hill. In Roman times, Zuricum was a tax-collecting point at the border of Gallia Belgica and Rhaetia for goods trafficked on the river limit. After Emperor Constantine's reforms in AD 318, the border between Gaul and Italy was located east of Zuricum, crossing the river Linth between Lake Walen and Lake Zürich, where a castle and garrison looked over Zuricum's safety. The earliest written record of the town dates from the 2nd century. with a tombstone referring to it as to the Statio Turicensis Quadragesima Galliarum, discovered at the Linden Hall. In the 5th century, the Germanic Alemanni tribes settled in the Swiss plateau. The Roman castle remained standing until the 7th century. A Carolingian castle, built on the site of the Roman castle by the grandson of Charlemagne, Louis the German, is mentioned in 835. Louis also founded the Frauenmuster Abbey in 853 for his daughter Hildegard. He endowed the Benedictine convent with the lands of Zurich, Uri, and the Albis forest, and granted the convent immunity, placing it under his direct authority. In 1045, King Henry III granted the convent the right to hold markets, collect tolls, and mint coins, and thus effectively made the abbess the ruler of the city. Zurich gained imperial immediacy in 1218 with the extinction of the main line of the Zähringer family and attained a status comparable to statehood. During the 1230s, a city wall was built, enclosing 38 hectares, when the earliest stone houses on the Rennweg were built as well. The Carolingian castle was used as a quarry, as it had started to fall into ruin. Emperor Frederick II promoted the abbess of the Frauenmuster to the rank of a duchess in 1234. The abbess nominated the mayor, and she frequently delegated the minting of coins to citizens of the city. The political power of the convent slowly waned in the 14th century, beginning with the establishment of the Zunftordnung in 1336 by Rudolf Brunn, who also became the first independent mayor, i.e., not nominated by the abbess. An important event in the early 14th century was the completion of the Manesse Codex, a key source of medieval German poetry. The famous illuminated manuscript, described as the most beautifully illumined German manuscript in centuries, was commissioned by the Manesse family of Zurich, copied and illustrated in the city at some time between 1304 and 1340. Producing such work was a highly expensive prestige project, requiring several years' work by highly skilled scribes and miniature painters, and it clearly testifies to the increasing wealth and pride of Zurich's citizens in this period. Old Swiss Confederacy. On the 1st of May 1351, the citizens of Zurich had to swear allegiance before representatives of the cantons of Lucerne, Schwyz, Uri and Unterwalden, the other members of the Swiss Confederacy. Thus, Zurich became the 5th member of the Confederacy, which was at the time a loose confederation of de facto independent states. Zurich was the presiding canton of the Diet from 1468 to 1519. This authority was the executive council and lawmaking body of the Confederacy for the Middle Ages until the establishment of the Swiss federal state in 1848. Zurich was temporarily expelled from the Confederacy in 1440 due to a war with the other member states over the territory of Toggenburg. Neither side had attained significant victory when peace was agreed upon in 1446, and Zurich was readmitted to the Confederation in 1450. Zwingli started the Swiss Reformation at the time when he was the main preacher in the 1520s, at the Grossmünster. He lived there from 1484 until his death in 1531. The Zurich Bible, based on that of Zwingli, was issued in 1531. The Reformation resulted in major changes in state matters and civil life in Zurich, spreading also to a number of other cantons. Several cantons remained Catholic and became the basis of serious conflicts that eventually led to the outbreak of the Wars of Cappel. During the 16th and 17th centuries, the Council of Zurich adopted an isolationist attitude, resulting in a second ring of imposing fortifications built in 1624. The 30 Years' War, which raged across Europe, motivated the city to build these walls. The fortifications required a lot of resources, which were taken from subject territories without reaching any agreement. The following revolts were crushed brutally. In 1648, Zurich proclaimed itself a republic, shedding its former status of a free imperial city. In this time the political system of Zurich was an oligarchy. The dominant families of the city were the following ones: Bonstetten, Brunn, Berkeley, Escher vom Glas, Escher vom Lux, Herzl, Jorackelksberger, Landenberg, Manesse, Meiss, Mayer von Nonor, Malner, von Orelli. The Helvetic Revolution of 1798 saw the fall of the ancient regime. Zurich lost control of the land and its economic privileges, and the city and the canton separated the possessions between 1803 to 05. In 1839, the city had to yield to the demands of its urban subjects, following the Jura Putsch of 6 September. Most of the ramparts built in the 17th century were torn down, without ever having been besieged, to allay rural concerns over the city's hegemony. The Treaty of Zurich between Austria, France, and Sardinia was signed in 1859. Modern history: Zurich was the federal capital for 1839 to 40, and consequently the victory of the Conservative Party there in 1839 caused a great stir throughout Switzerland. But when in 1845 the Radicals regained power at Zurich, which was again the federal capital for 1845 to 46, Zurich took the lead in opposing the Sonderbund cantons. Following the Sonderbund War and the formation of the Swiss federal state, Zurich voted in favor of the federal constitutions of 1848 and of 1874. The enormous immigration from the country districts into the town from the 1830s onwards created an industrial class which, though settled in the town, did not possess the privileges of burghership, and consequently had no share in the municipal government. First of all, in 1860 the town schools, hitherto open to settlers only on paying high fees, were made accessible to all. Next, in 1875, 10 years residence ipso facto conferred the right of burghership, and in 1893 the 11 outlying districts were incorporated within the town proper. Extensive developments took place during the 19th century. From 1847, the Spanish Brotley-Bahn, the first railway on Swiss territory, connected Zurich with Baden, parting the Zurich Hauptbahnhof at the origin of the Swiss rail network. The present building of the Hauptbahnhof dates to 1871. Zurich's Bahnhofstrasse was laid out in 1867, and the Zurich Stock Exchange was founded in 1877. Industrialization led to migration into the cities and to rapid population growth, particularly in the suburbs of Zurich. The Qualenlagen are an important milestone in the development of the modern city of Zurich, as the construction of the new lakefront transformed Zurich from a small medieval town on the river's limit and Sihl to an attractive modern city on the Zurich seashore, under the guidance of the city engineer Arnold Berkeley. In 1893, the 12 outlying districts were incorporated into Zurich, including Oz-Erzeel, the workmen's quarter on the left bank of the Sihl, and additional land was reclaimed from Lake Zürich. In 1934, 8 additional districts in the north and west of Zurich were incorporated. Zurich was accidentally bombed during World War II. Coat of arms: the blue and white coat of arms of Zurich is attested from 1389, and was derived from banners with blue and white stripes in use since 1315. The first certain testimony of banners with the same design is from 1434. The coat of arms is flanked by two lions. The red schwenkel on top of the banner had varying interpretations. For the people of Zurich, it was a mark of honor, granted by Rudolf I. Zurich's neighbors mocked it as a sign of shame, commemorating the loss of the banner at Winterthur in 1292. Today, the canton of Zurich uses the same coat of arms as the city. Politics. City districts. The previous boundaries of the city of Zurich were more or less synonymous with the location of the old town. Two large expansions of the city limits occurred in 1893 and in 1934 when the city of Zurich merged with many surrounding municipalities that had been growing increasingly together since the 19th century. Today, the city is divided into 12 districts, numbered 1 to 12, each one of which contains between 1 and 4 neighborhoods. Kreis 1, known as Altstadt, contains the Old Town, both to the east and west of the start of the limit. District 1 contains the neighborhoods of Hochschulen, Rathhaus, Lindenhof, and City. Kreis 2 lies along the west side of Lake Zürich, and contains the neighborhoods of Enger, Wallishofen, and Leimbach. Kreis 3, known as Wiedikon, is between the Sihl and the Uetliberg, and contains the neighborhoods of Alt-Wiedikon, Silfeld and Friesenberg. Kreis 4, known as Ost-Sihl, lies between the Sihl and the train tracks leaving Zurich Hauptbahnhof, and contains the neighborhoods of Wörth, Langstrasse and Hart. Kreis 5, known as Industriequartier, is between the limit and the train tracks leaving Zurich Hauptbahnhof. It contains the former industrial area of Zurich, which has gone under a large-scale rezoning to create upscale modern housing, retail and commercial real estate. It contains the neighborhoods of Gueberschule and Escherwiss. Kreis 6 is on the edge of the Zürichberg, a hill overlooking the eastern part of the city. District 6 contains the neighborhoods Oberstrassen and Terstrasse. Kreis 7 is on the edge of the Adlersberg Hill as well as the Zürichberg, on the eastern side of the city. District 7 contains the neighborhoods of Flunten, Hottingen, and Herslanden. These neighborhoods are home to Zurich's wealthiest and more prominent residents. The neighborhood Wittekong also belongs to District 7. Kreis 8, officially called Riesbach, but colloquially known as Seefeld, lies on the eastern side of Lake Zurich. District 8 consists of the neighborhoods of Seefeld, Mühlebach, and Weinach. Kreis 9 is between the limit to the north and the Uetliberg to the south. It contains the neighborhoods Altstätten and Albisroden. Kreis 10 is to the east of the limit and to the south of the Hongerberg and Kafferberg hills. District 10 contains the neighborhoods of Hong and Wipkingen. Kreis 11 is in the area north of the Hongerberg and Kafferberg and between the Glatt Valley and the Katzensee. It contains the neighborhoods of Affolten, Alikon and Seebach. Kreis 12, known as Schwemmendingen, is located in the Glattal on the northern side of the Zürichberg. District 12 contains the neighborhoods of Saartlen, Schwemmendigen, Mitte, and Heisenbach. Most of the district boundaries are fairly similar to the original boundaries of the previously existing municipalities before they were incorporated into the city of Zurich. Government. The City Council constitutes the executive government of the city of Zurich and operates as a collegiate authority. It is composed of 9 councillors, each presiding over a department. Departmental tasks, coordination measures and implementation of laws decreed by the city parliament are carried out by the city council. The regular election of the city council by any inhabitant valid to vote is held every 4 years. The mayor is elected as such by a public election, while the heads of the other departments are assigned by the collegiate. Current mayor is Karin Mauch. The executive body holds its meetings in the City Hall, on the left bank of the Limit. The building was built in 1883 in Renaissance style. As of 2015, the Zurich City Council is made up of 4 representatives of the SP, 2 members of the FDP and 1 member each of Green Party, CVP and AL, giving the left parties a combined 6 out of 9 seats. The last election was held on. Claudia Kutscher is town chronicler since 2012, and Peter Saylor is legal counsel since 2000 for the City Council. Parliament. The City Parliament holds the legislative power. It is made up of 125 members, with elections also held every 4 years. The City Parliament decrees regulations and bylaws that are executed by the City Council and the administration. The sessions of the City Parliament are public. Unlike the member of the City Council, the members of the City Parliament are not politicians by profession, but they are paid a fee based on their attendance. Any resident of Zurich allowed to vote can be elected as a member of the City Parliament. The legislative body holds its meetings in the Town Hall, on the right bank of the Limit opposite to the City Hall. The last election of the City Parliament was held on the 9th of February 2014 for the mandate period of 2014 to 2018. Currently the City Parliament consists of 39 members of the Social Democratic Party, 22 members of the Swiss People's Party, 21 the Liberals, 14 Green Party, 13 Green Liberal Party, 9 Alternative List, 6 Christian Democratic People's Party, and 1 member without any association to a party. International relations. Twin towns and sister cities. Zurich is partnered with 2 sister cities, Kunming and San Francisco. Geography. Zurich is situated at 408 meters above sea level on the lower end of Lake Zürich, about 30 kilometers north of the Alps, nestling between the wooded hills on the west and east side. The Old Town stretches on both sides of the Limit, which flows from the lake, running northwards at first and then gradually turning into a curve to the west. The geographic center of the city is the Lindenhof, a small natural hill on the west bank of the Limit, about 700 meters north of where the river issues from Lake Zürich. Today the incorporated city stretches somewhat beyond the natural confines of the hills and includes some districts to the northeast in the Glatt Valley and to the north in the Limit Valley. The boundaries of the older city are easy to recognize by the Schanzengraben Canal. This artificial watercourse has been used for the construction of the third fortress in the 17th and 18th centuries. Topography. The municipality of Zurich has an area of 91.88 square kilometers, of which 4.1 square kilometers is made up of Lake Zurich. The area includes the section of the northern Swiss plateau. The banks of the Limit constitute the densest part of the city. The river is oriented in the southeast-northwest direction, with the flat valley floor having a width of 2 to 3 kilometers. The partially channeled and straightened Limit does not flow in the central part of the valley, but always along its right side. The Sihl meets with the Limit at the end of Platzspitz, which borders the Swiss National Museum. The Limit reaches the lowest point of the municipality in Oberingstringen at 392 meters above sea level. On its west side the Limit Valley is flanked by the wooded heights of the Albis chain, which runs along the western border. The Zürich.It is, with 869 meters above sea level, the highest elevation of the surrounding area. Its summit can be reached easily by the Zürich.It barn. For the platform of the observation tower on the summit, an impressive panorama of the city, the lake and the Alps can be seen. The northeast side of the Limit Valley includes a range of hills which marks the watershed between the Limit and the Glatt. For the northwest to the southeast, the height of the mostly wooded knolls generally increases. The Gubrist, the Hongerberg, the Kafferberg, the Zürichberg, the Adlersberg and the Oschbrig Between the Kafferberg and the Zürichberg is located the Saddle of the Milchbuck, an important passage from the Limit Valley to the Glatt Valley. The northernmost part of the municipality extends to the plain of the Glatt Valley and to the Saddle, which makes the connection between the Glattal and Fertile. Also a part of the Katzensee and the Biszee, both of which are drained by the Katzen back to Glatt, belong to the city. Climate: Zurich has, depending on the definition used, an oceanic climate, with 4 distinct seasons. Decisive for the climate of Zurich are both the winds from westerly directions, which often result in precipitation, and, on the other hand, the breeze, which is usually associated with high-pressure situations, but cooler weather phases with temperatures lower than the average. The Föhn wind, which plays an important role in the northern Alpine valleys, also has some impact on Zurich. The annual mean temperature at the measuring station of the Federal Office of Meteorology and Climatology in Zurich-Flunton is 9.3 degrees Celsius. The lowest monthly mean of daily minimum temperature are measured in January with -2.0 degrees Celsius, and the highest monthly mean of daily maximum temperature are measured in July with 24.0 degrees Celsius. On average, there are 74.9 days in which the minimum temperature is below 0 degrees Celsius, and 23.7 days in which the maximum temperature is below 0 degrees Celsius. There are on average of 30 so-called summer days throughout the year, while so-called heat days are 5.8 days. The average high temperature in July is 24.0 degrees Celsius, and average low temperature is 14 degrees Celsius. Record high in Zurich was on the 13th of August 2003 with temperature above 37 degrees Celsius. Spring and autumn are generally cool to mild, but sometimes with large differences between warm and cold days even during the same year. The highest temperature of the month March in 2014 was on the 20th at 20.6 degrees Celsius during a sunny afternoon, and the lowest temperature was on the 25th, at -0.4 degrees Celsius during the night, early morning. Record low of average daily temperatures in March since 1864 is -12 degrees Celsius, and record high of average daily temperatures in March is 16 degrees Celsius. Record low of average daily temperatures in October is -16 degrees Celsius, and record high of average daily temperatures in October is 20 degrees Celsius. Zurich has an average of 1,544 hours of sunshine per year and shines on 38% of its potential time throughout the year. During the months April until September, the sun shines between 150 and 215 hours per month. The 1,134 mm rainfall spread on 133.9 days with precipitation throughout the year. Roughly about every third day you will encounter at least some precipitation, which is very much a Swiss average. During the warmer half of the year, and especially during the 3 summer months, the strength of rainfall is higher than those measured in winter, but the days with precipitation stays about the same throughout the year. October has the lowest number of days with some precipitation. There is an average of 59.5 so-called bright days through the year, the most in July and August, and the least in January and December. The average number of days with sunshine duration less than 20%, so-called cloudy days, is 158.4 days, while the most cloudy days are in November, December, and January with 19 days. Climate protection. The city of Zurich is among the world leaders in protecting the climate by following a manifold approach. In November 2008, the people of Zurich voted in a public referendum to write into law the quantifiable and fixed deadline of 1 ton of CO2 per person per annum by 2050. This forces any decision of the executive to support this goal, even if the costs are higher in all dimensions. Some examples of the new disinfection section of the public city hospital in Triemli, the continued optimization and creation of public transportation, enlargement of the bicycle-only network, research and projects for renewable energy and enclosure of speedways. Urban area. The areas surrounding the limit are almost completely developed with residential, industrial, and commercial zones. The sunny and desirable residential areas in the hills overlooking Zurich, Wadeberg and Zürich.It, and the bottom part of the slope on the western side of the valley on the Uetliberg, are also densely built. The green lungs of the city include the vast forest areas of Adlersberg, Zürichberg, Kafferberg, Hongerberg and Uetliberg. Major parks are also located along the lake shore, while smaller parks dot the city. Larger contiguous agricultural lands are located near Fulton and Seebeck. Of the total area of the municipality of Zurich, 45.4% is residential, industrial and commercial, 15.5% is transportation infrastructure, 26.5% is forest, 11% is agriculture and 1.2% is water.